Hello. If you've seen my other videos, welcome back. If this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome. I like to start off my videos with this disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. I am no financial advisor. So if you're looking for any kind of advice or anything of that sort, shrug off. Okay, you're not going to find it here. With that said, today's topic, narrative. Now, you constantly hear it. Narrative, 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 narrative. It's everywhere. I mean, dude, every news channel, whether it's radio, TV, whatever, even the internet, narrative. Problem is what are you not hearing? The story. Okay, so all your news networks aren't really news networks anymore. You don't get any news story. When was the last time you saw a news story go, let's say, a whole 5 minutes? No. Usually it's 30 seconds, maybe a minute of whatever kind of hysteria, hyperbole, or narrative that they want to direct the conversation. All right? Not our conversation, theirs. And by that I mean they'll bring on guests that are like-minded, and they'll reinforce their narrative with familiar responses. It's basically a lot of these news things are echo chambers of opinions. Okay? They're not news. Now, back in the day, if something happened, you'd get a reporter and he'd go to this place and to that place and have all these different sources and go talk to all these different people to get the story, to get facts, details, the little things that may not be reported elsewhere. Honestly, it had its bias back then too. Nothing like we see nowadays. I mean, obviously Fox, Newsmax, One American Network, they're what you would consider conservative or right-leaning. Then you have CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, and any of the other alphabet gobbledygook stations. Pretty much, they're liberal, not just a little liberal. And in both cases, whatever happens, they'll have somebody on that agrees with it. Now, I'll give this to Fox and Newsmax, matter of fact. They will have people on that disagree with them. And generally, they're on to stand by the narrative. Alright, they won't get into any details either, and they just return to the standard talking points on every subject, as though you haven't already heard it 100 times. Now, me, I like to have some in-depth coverage. Alright? Even if you're reading it in a print, it's still a lot of the time a narrative. I'll give you a good example of why narratives don't really work. I had a great week last week. Now, that's the same thing being said from two different perspectives. One, the happier side, I had a great week last week, which, by the way, was pretty good. And then there's the negative side. And I had a great week last week. And, it's like you can just picture, this guy's weakness has really been a bummer. Generally speaking, you don't know the story. What was it about my week that made it good? What was it about my week that made it bad? And honestly, the week had a little bit of both. But on the scale, in my book, it was a great week. I survived it for one. For two, the work I did was satisfactory to me. satisfactory to my boss, and done in a productive manner. That's a pretty good week. Now, at the same time, if I wanted to make it look like a bad week, I could say, yeah, well, the boss is really getting picky on us and really, pointing out all our flaws and really, cracking the whip on us and stuff like that, really coming down. No. See, and the truth is if I was going to sell you that horrible narrative, it's probably be this story I would pitch, even though it's not true. Yes, the boss noticed things that needed to be improved, or generally speaking, he wasn't happy with. And of course, what boss is truly ever happy with the productivity? Every boss wants more productivity. Nature of the beast. So, generally speaking, your narrative is not the story. Your narratives are opinion-based, backed up by opinion, and that's all they are. Alright? They're not the story. The narrator is not the story. The narration is not the story. The story is the story. The narrator and the narration can give a story a certain feel, almost the story a little extra life, but it's still not the story. So when you watch the news, try and figure out what the story is, if you can. So little of the news that we get is anything more than breaking news, blah, blah, blah. Here's a minute and a half of whatever detail. And don't get me wrong, a minute and a half, you can say a lot. But it's all opinion. It's not a story. So keep that in mind when you watch the news. And at that, honestly, don't watch so much of it. It's the same story every 15 minutes, over and over, for 24-hour cycles, for multiple days in a row. Some of these stupid narrations even go on for a week or longer. Heck, look at the insurrection. That narration's still going on, and it's over 2 years. What's the story on that? We're still sorting that out. But the news people aren't giving us the stories. They're giving us their opinions, their narrations. So, turn off the idiot box. Get your half an hour worth of news a day. Go on, get outside and have a life. Okay? Don't sit there all day biting your nails, waiting for them to reiterate the narration over and over and over in hopes that you might get a story or a little fraction of the story more than you got last hour, last 4 hours. So with that, I guess I'm done with my point. I hope I made it. And generally speaking, I hope you guys have a good day. I appreciate your time. To me, it's one of the most precious things. And I guess I should also mention in this ending, if you're looking for my videos, from what I hear, you're not going to find them. I don't know what the deal is, but if you Google it or type it into the DuckDuckGo search engine, I don't come up. If you type it into the search bar for YouTube itself, I don't come up. So if you want to see my videos, hit subscribe. And if you want basically the internet to know I'm out here, click like, because that gives algorithm and it gets people out there. And the third thing is if you want to hear again what I got to say or whatever I got coming up next, hit the notification bell. This way you won't miss whatever I got to say. God only knows what I'm going to come up with. So with that, generally speaking, I appreciate your time and have a good day.